It all started with a single Instagram post, one photo. No caption, just Rasheeda Frost staring into the camera with a look that screamed, "I've had enough." Within minutes, the internet was in meltdown. Rumors exploded. Blogs reignited. Old scandals. Fans rushed to comment, guessing what was going on. But no one expected this. After years of silence, after standing by her man through cheating scandals, public humiliation, and countless reality TV showdowns, Rasheeda, the boss chick herself, finally broke her silence. And what she had to say, it shook love and hip-hop fans to the core. Because this time, she wasn't protecting Kirk Frost. She wasn't making excuses. She wasn't crying behind closed doors. At 48, with decades of experience, heartbreak, and survival under her belt, Rasheeda stood up, looked the world in the eye, and said, "Here's the truth about Kirk's affairs, all of it. From secret hotel meetings to DMS with women half his age, to alleged love children no one dared to mention. This isn't just a confession, it's an expose. The tears, the betrayal, the rage, it's all here. And what Kirk did next, that will leave you speechless. Buckle up, because this is the Rasheeda Frost story you never thought you'd hear. And once you hear it, you'll never look at her or Kirk the same way again." It wasn't just another day in the Frost household, it was the beginning of the end, though none of them knew it yet. Rasheeda had always been the definition of grace under fire, holding her head high even when the world threw stones. From the outside, she seemed unbothered, fiercely loyal, and perfectly composed. But behind closed doors, a storm had been brewing for years, and now, at 48, Rasheeda's patience had finally cracked. It started with a voice note. A fan had forwarded it anonymously to her boutique's business email. It was short, distorted, but unmistakably Kirk's voice, flirty, playful, and scandalously inappropriate. The woman on the other end giggled like she knew him very well. Rasheeda sat frozen in her office chair, clutching her phone, her heart thudding like a drum. She had heard whispers before, seen demons she forced herself to ignore. But this wasn't a rumor. This wasn't someone fishing for clout. This was Kirk, again, and she had no more energy left to cover for him. That night, she didn't cry, she didn't scream, she didn't even confront him. She simply poured herself a glass of wine, tucked their youngest into bed, and stared out the window for hours. When Kirk came home, he noticed the silence. Rasheeda always greeted him, sometimes with tension, sometimes with warmth, but always something. Tonight, nothing. Just her eyes following him like daggers. "You good?" he asked, trying to play it cool, putting his keys on the counter. "Yeah," she said softly. "Great, actually." Her voice was calm, but her words cut deep. Kirk knew that tone. It wasn't anger, it was resignation. The kind that comes after years of second chances. The kind that means the train has already left the station. The next morning, she posted a story, just a mirror selfie with a cryptic caption, "Sometimes silence is the loudest scream." Fans were instantly alarmed. Was it about Kirk? Was another scandal coming? It didn't take long before gossip, blogs started piecing things together. And before Kirk could control the narrative, Rasheeda had made her next Movan interview. But not just any interview. This was no red carpet chit-chat or love and hip-hop confessional. She sat down with a raw, no-holds-barred YouTube channel that specialized in truth bombs. And when the cameras started rolling, Rasheeda didn't hold back. "He's been cheating on me for years," she said, her voice unwavering. "And I'm not talking about one or two mistakes. I'm talking about patterns. Women in different cities, DMS, full of receipts. Lies that he would tell with a straight face, knowing I already knew the truth." The interviewer, clearly shocked, asked why she had stayed for so long. Rasheeda exhaled. "Because I thought I had to. Because we had a brand, a family, kids who didn't ask to be born into this circus. I kept thinking maybe he'll change. Maybe he'll wake up one day and realize I'm enough. But that day never came. And now, I'm done sacrificing my peace to protect his image." The video exploded online. Within hours, hashtag #RASHEEDA speaks and hashtag Kirk exposed were trending. Fans took sides. Some applauded her courage. Others criticized her for staying silent for so long. But what no one knew yet, what Rasheeda hadn't revealed, was that this wasn't just about betrayal. It was about revenge. 2 weeks earlier, Rasheeda had hired a private investigator, not because she didn't trust Kirk, but because she no longer trusted herself to believe him. And what that investigator found, it was worse than she imagined. One of the women wasn't just a fling. She was someone Kirk had been seeing for over a year. He had flown her out to shows, bought her designer bags, even paid her rent. This wasn't just cheating, Rasheeda told her best friend Candy in a late-night call. This was a whole relationship. While I was working on our business, raising our kids, defending him on TV, he was playing house with someone else. Candy, ever the loyal confidant, was furious. Girl, this is some next-level disrespect. You need to burn it all down. And that's exactly what Rasheeda planned to do. The next morning, she walked into Frost Bistro wearing all black, sunglasses on, lips tight. Staff members exchanged awkward glances. They could feel something was off. Kirk was in the back, joking with one of the chefs. When he saw her, the smile dropped. "We need to talk," she said. Now, they stepped into the office, and for the next 20 minutes, Rasheeda laid it all out: names, dates, screenshots, photos. Kirk tried to deny it at first, but the evidence was overwhelming. "You think I didn't know?" she snapped. "You think I've been stupid all this time?" "No, Kirk, I've been patient. I gave you every opportunity to come clean. And now, I don't owe you a damn thing." Kirk, cornered and embarrassed, tried to flip it. "You were always so busy with your store, the brand, the show. Maybe if you had been around more," but Rasheeda cut him off. Don't you dare try to blame me for your dirty choices. You think being successful is a weakness. You think being loyal makes me blind. Nah, Kirk, it makes me strong. And I'm about to remind the world exactly who the hell I am." With that, she walked out, leaving him speechless. She didn't slam the door. She didn't cry. She walked like a woman who had finally remembered her worth. Word of the confrontation spread fast. Employees whispered. Close friends texted her. Non-stop fans speculated online. And somewhere in all that chaos, Rasheeda felt something she hadn't felt in years: freedom. She wasn't hiding anymore. She wasn't carrying Kirk's mess on her shoulders. She was shedding the lies, one painful truth at a time. But what she didn't know, what was waiting around the corner, was a betrayal even deeper than she imagined. Because the woman Kirk had been seeing, she wasn't just a side piece, she had a secret of her own. And soon, that secret would bring the entire Frost empire crashing down. Rasheeda had barely caught her breath from the confrontation at Frost Bistro when the next blow landed. It landed hard. She was in the middle of a business meeting, reviewing new merchandise for her pressed boutique, when her assistant rushed in, phone trembling in hand. "You need to see this," she whispered, pale-faced. Rasheeda took the phone, expecting another blog headline or fan tweet. But what she saw made her stomach twist. It was a video, a shaky low-lit clip of Kirk, sitting in the passenger seat of a car, laughing with a woman, but not just any woman, the same woman Rasheeda had confronted him about. And the caption read, "He said he was done with Rasheeda, but we're still together. Sorry, not sorry." The woman smirked at the camera as Kirk looked away, seemingly unaware he was being filmed. That one post sent shockwaves through the internet. Fans lost it. Was this recent? Had Kirk lied again? Was he really still seeing her even after Rasheeda confronted him? Rasheeda didn't say a word. She ended the meeting early, went into her office, and locked the door. For the next 2 hours, she replayed every conversation in her mind. The promises, the apologies, the denials, all of it, now meaningless. And then her phone buzzed again, this time with a message request. From the same woman. One cold, bold sentence. "You might want to check the DNA test results. He knows." Rasheeda's hands shook as she opened the attached document. It was real. A certified paternity result. Kirk Frost 99. 9% match. Her heart dropped. There was a child. A whole baby. And Kirk had known. This wasn't just betrayal, it was treason. She stared at the screen, silent, numb. The man she had defended on national television, forgiven time and time again, and built an empire with, had hidden a child from her. And the woman, she was flaunting it. That night, Rasheeda didn't sleep. She called no one, she didn't cry. She sat alone in her living room, surrounded by memories, questioning everything. Had their entire marriage been a lie? Did he ever respect her? Or had she just been a convenient brand to hide behind? When Kirk came home around midnight, she was waiting. No yelling, no drama, just silence. He looked at her, guilty, caught, broken. "You saw it?" he asked softly. "The video, the test." She nodded. "Yeah, I saw everything." Kirk sat down, hands in his lap like a child waiting to be punished. "It was a mistake," he mumbled. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. I didn't even know about the kid until recently," Rasheeda cut him off. "Don't lie. Not now. You knew. You lied, and you chose her. Over and over again. While I was holding our world together, you were out making a new one behind my back." Kirk's voice cracked. "I didn't want to lose you," Rasheeda scoffed. "You already lost me." The next morning, Rasheeda packed a bag and left. No warning, no announcement, just a quiet exit. She stayed at a friend's house in Buckhead for a few days, avoiding calls, ignoring messages. Meanwhile, the internet exploded. Fans speculated everything. Was she leaving him for good? Was the baby real? Was there another woman? New YouTubers were born overnight, just to cover the drama. Blogs began digging into the mystery woman's background. Her name was Imani, 28 years old, a former bottle girl turned influencer, and based on the receipts, Kirk had been supporting her financially for over a year. He paid for her apartment, bought her a car, even took her on tour. And the worst part, their child was nearly one. That meant Kirk had been keeping this secret the entire time Rasheeda was filming Love and Hip Hop, giving interviews about loyalty and forgiveness. Fans were livid. Betrayal wasn't new for Kirk, but this level of deception, it was nuclear. Candy and Tiny visited Rasheeda, trying to cheer her up. But even they were shocked by how composed she was. "You ain't even mad?" Tiny asked. Rasheeda smiled sadly. "Oh, I'm mad. I'm just done wasting energy on a man who's never been afraid to lose me." That night, Rasheeda posted a photo of her in the studio, headphones on, looking fierce. The caption, "Built my life, built my brand, built my peace. I'm not starting over, I'm starting stronger." That one post became a war cry. Women across social media praised her strength, calling her a survivor, a queen, a symbol of what reclaiming power looked like. And just when it seemed like Rasheeda had finally stepped into her light, Kirk did the unthinkable. He posted a photo of himself holding the child. Caption, "No matter what happens, I'm gonna be there for mine. Always." Fans were torn. Some praised him for stepping up. Others called it tone-deaf and manipulative. Rasheeda didn't respond publicly, but close sources said she was furious. Not because of the child, he was innocent, but because Kirk was using fatherhood to rewrite the narrative. Like this was about redemption. Like his lies could be softened by a baby's smile. But Rasheeda wasn't playing his game anymore. She had already spoken her truth, and now, she was preparing for her next move, one that would shake the entire reality TV world to its core. Because Rasheeda had been keeping her own secret. One she never planned to share until now. The whispers started, small quiet murmurs from insiders. Cryptic messages in the DMs of gossip bloggers. And subtle hints dropped during podcast interviews. Something was brewing on Rasheeda's side. For years, she had played the loyal wife, the rock of the Frost Empire. But no one had stopped to wonder what she might be hiding, what she had sacrificed, or what cards she still had tucked up her perfectly tailored sleeves. While Kirk was busy posting pictures with his newborn and playing the victim in public, Rasheeda was meeting with lawyers, business strategists, and a certain executive producer who had been chasing her for months. Not for another season of Love and Hip Hop, but for her own show. One where she wouldn't be the wife who forgave, she'd be the woman who took over. The cameras started rolling quietly. No press release, no promo, just scenes of Rasheeda reclaiming her identity, piece by piece, signing new leases, hiring new staff, rebranding her businesses under her name alone. The show was raw, personal, and dripping with emotional confessionals. In one powerful scene, she sat in front of a vanity mirror and said, "For years, I thought forgiveness made me strong. But strength isn't about enduring disrespect. It's about walking away from it and building something better." Fans lost it. Social media was ablaze with praise. "Rasheeda's glope is the best revenge," one fan tweeted. Another said, "She didn't just leave the man, she leveled up the brand." But even as the world applauded, there was one piece of the puzzle that still hadn't surfaced. The secret Rasheeda had kept even from her closest friends. One night, Candy came over for dinner. The mood was warm, relaxed, until Rasheeda hesitated at the end of the night. "I need to tell you something," she said, pouring another glass of wine. Candy looked up, bracing for impact. "There was someone else," Rasheeda said softly. Candy blinked. "Wait, you had someone else?" Rasheeda nodded slowly. "Not like that. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't even planned. But he was there when I needed someone. When Kirk was gone all the time. When I felt invisible." Candy was stunned. "Girl, you've been sitting on this the whole time." Rasheeda smiled faintly. It wasn't about cheating. It was about remembering I was still a woman. Desirable. Worth attention that didn't come with lies. The man's name. She wouldn't say not yet, but rumors swirled quickly. Some said it was an old flame. Others said it was someone from the industry, successful, powerful, and quiet enough to respect her privacy. And while the internet obsessed over his identity, Kirk Frost was unraveling. His public image, once half-salvaged by fatherhood, began to fracture. Fans turned on him fast. Some of the women he had allegedly been involved with started speaking out. Old texts leaked. Embarrassing voice notes. Even a behind-the-scenes clip from Love and Hip Hop resurfaced where he was seen mocking Rasheeda during a production break, calling her too serious and no fun anymore. That clip went viral. And with it, so did the hate. But Rasheeda, she didn't flinch. She posted a short video just her walking into a new building with a sign that read, RF Studios. Coming soon. The caption, sometimes you gotta lose a man to find your mission. Meanwhile, Kirk tried to save face with interviews. He told the Shade Room that he was trying to be a better father. That he regretted hurting Rasheeda. That they were working things out. But fans weren't buying it. One comment summed it up best. You didn't just break her heart, you broke your own legacy. And it only got worse. Days later, Amani, the woman with the child, went live. Drunk, unfiltered, and messy. Kirk was telling me he was gonna leave Rasheeda for me. She slurred, laughing. Said they were just business partners. Said she knew about the baby. The whole time Lyonnaise man. That livestream became the final nail in the coffin. Fans demanded answers. Rasheeda, ever the strategist, remained quiet, but the producers of her new show knew this was TV gold. And so, in the season finale, she finally addressed it. Sitting in a dimly lit room, no makeup, raw and real. Did I know about the baby? No. Did he tell her I did? Probably. That's what cowards do. They use lies to keep everyone confused. But I'm not confused anymore. I know who I am. And I know what I deserve. Her words hit like thunder. And just when the dust seemed to be settling, another twist dropped. Rasheeda filed for legal separation. The documents leaked within hours. And while the headlines screamed divorce, her inner circle knew better. This wasn't about breaking a marriage. It was about breaking free. The empire they had built together was now being divided. Frost Bistro was closed for renovations. The Pressed Boutique was rebranded simply as Rasheeda. And behind the scenes, the paperwork was being filed for a brand new venture and empowerment summit for women who had survived emotional betrayal in public and private. It was called Unmuted. Kirk, now living alone in a downtown condo, tried to keep up. He posted videos of himself cooking with his kids, going to the gym, talking about growth. But it felt hollow, forced. And then came the final twist. A Tello book deal, but not from Rasheeda, from Amani, titled The Other Woman, My Truth, His Lies. It promised to reveal everything Kirk had done, said, and promised her. The teaser chapter leaked to the blogs included graphic details of their relationship. How he allegedly used Rasheeda's money to fund their affair. And even screenshots of text messages where Kirk bragged about manipulating producers to make himself look good on camera. Rasheeda didn't respond publicly. She didn't need to. Her silence was louder than any interview. The woman who had once stood quietly beside her man, defending him, enduring humiliation, and playing peacemaker was gone. In her place stood a mogul, a survivor, a mother, and a queen who had reclaimed her crown without asking for permission. The world had seen Rasheeda broken on the reunion stage, choked up confessions in her boutique. And those painful moments when she tried to convince herself that loyalty was enough to save a man who never stopped cheating. But what no one expected was her final act, not just survival, not just success, but transformation. And in part 4 of her story, Rasheeda Frost didn't just rise, she rewrote the rules. The headlines that once read Kirk's wife speaks out were now Rasheeda breaks records, Frost empire becomes solo reign, and reality TV queen builds real-life legacy. It began with her live event Unmuted, the Healing Summit. Originally planned as a small gathering of women entrepreneurs, it turned into a sold-out multi-city tour. Women from every walk of life came to hear her speak, not as a scorned wife, but as a woman who had walked through the fire and came out burning brighter. On stage, dressed in white and standing tall, Rasheeda held nothing back. We talk about cheating like it's just a bad decision. But what no one tells you is that betrayal changes you. It makes you question your worth. It makes you think you're the problem. But let me tell you something, ladies, you are never the problem when someone else chooses to be a coward. The crowd erupted, people wept, fans screamed. And Kirk, he was nowhere to be seen. Behind closed doors, he had tried desperately to meet with Rasheeda. He sent messages through mutual friends. He even showed up to one of the summit events, standing in the back, hoping for a word. But Rasheeda never flinched. She had given him over a decade to be the man she needed. Now, she was being the woman she deserved. And just when it seemed like the story had reached its climax, Rasheeda dropped the final bombshell. An exclusive interview with Essence magazine, where she confirmed what fans had only guessed until now. There was someone else, she admitted. Not an affair. Not a fling. A friend. A man who reminded me that I'm still valuable. That I don't have to beg for honesty. That I don't have to shrink myself to be loved. The interviewer leaned in. Is he still in your life? Rasheeda smiled coyly. Let's just say, he treats me like a queen and, not just online. Social media went wild. Who was the mystery man? Was it a celebrity? A businessman? A producer? No one knew for sure. But whoever he was, one thing was clear, he had entered her life after she chose herself. Not as a rebound, but as a reward. Meanwhile, Kirk's world was falling apart. Sponsors pulled out of partnerships. His podcast struggled with dwindling views. And despite trying to present himself as a family man, the truth about his infidelities kept resurfacing. Amani's tell-all hit #1 on the urban non-fiction charts. And the most damaging part. Texts between Kirk and another unnamed woman, dated after the birth of his newest child. The man just didn't stop. Public opinion turned hard. People weren't just disappointed, they were disgusted. You don't just lose a woman like Rasheeda. One viral tweet read, you lose your entire legacy. But Rasheeda, she wasn't focused on the downfall. She was too busy building an empire. The pressed clothing line expanded into 3 more cities. She signed a multi-year deal with a national retail chain. RF Studios opened with a full production team, focusing on fashion, lifestyle, and empowering digital content for women of color. Her show, initially titled Rasheeda Rebuilt, was renamed Boss Energy, and it was being considered by major streaming platforms. In one of the most powerful scenes from the new series, she looked directly into the camera and said, I didn't just leave my marriage. I left the version of myself that thought pain was the price of love. And yet, despite her success, there was one thing fans couldn't stop wondering: what about the kids? Rasheeda answered that too. In a video she posted on her YouTube channel, she invited viewers into her home. Not the drama, just the reality. Her sons laughing, cooking, dinner together, her mother stopping by. We're good, she said. My boys know what respect looks like because I showed them. I didn't stay broken. I didn't become bitter. I became better, and they see that every day. Fans flooded the comments with support. One wrote, this is what healing looks like. Another said, you taught us all that staying quiet isn't strength, choosing yourself is. And Kirk. He eventually went silent. No more interviews. No more public statements. Just scattered sightings of him at the gym, at the club, trying to stay relevant in a world that had finally stopped tolerating his nonsense. The Frost name, once tied to scandal, was now tied to resilience. Rasheeda had taken the pain, the public humiliation, the years of deception, and turned them into power. She didn't just tell her story, she owned it, and that's the part people will remember. Not the cheating, not the betrayal, but the woman who looked the world in the face at 48 years old and said, you're gonna hear my side now. A woman who refused to be anyone's footnote, who turned heartbreak into headlines and then rewrote the story completely. And now, here we are. After years of whispers, blogs, betrayals, and public breakdowns, Rasheeda Frost has done what so many thought she never would. She told the truth. Not just about Kirk's endless affairs, or the baby he hid, or the other woman who tried to replace her, but about herself, her pain, her silence, her strength. She didn't explode. She evolved. And in that evolution, she gave thousands, millions of women permission to say, enough is enough. At 48, Rasheeda didn't just reclaim her narrative, she rewrote the ending. No longer the quiet, composed wife cleaning up her husband's messes behind the scenes. She became the storm, the voice, the brand. And let's not ignore what made this story so jaw-dropping. The twists, the double life Kirk led, while pretending to be changed, the secret child, the explosive DMs, the leaked videos, the woman going live like she was auditioning for her own spin-off, and then Rasheeda's own confession. The mystery man. The show. The rebrand. The empire. You couldn't write a better script, and yet, this is the reality we watched unfold, piece by devastating piece. And while Kirk faded from the spotlight, Rasheeda built something bigger than a marriage. She built a movement. Her boutiques are booming. Her new show is in development with major interest. Her summit, Unmuted, is changing lives. She's not just surviving, she's leading. But what happens next? Will she ever reveal who the mystery man is? Will she officially divorce Kirk? Or is the separation where it ends? Can Kirk recover from this massive fallout? Or is his legacy permanently marked by betrayal? That's where you come in. We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Rasheeda should take him back if he changes? Or should she keep moving forward without looking back? Is forgiveness still on the table? Or has that chapter closed for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We know y'all have opinions, and we're ready to read every single one. Make sure to like this video if you're proud of Rasheeda for standing up for herself, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more real talk, more drama, and more truth bombs just like this. Hit that bell icon so you never miss the next chapter in this wild reality roller coaster. Because in a world full of secrets, Rasheeda finally chose truth. And baby, it was worth the wait.